Alright, so we're gonna do a tier list of every legend in Brawlhalla. Now, if you haven't noticed, I couldn't actually fit every single legend in there. There are 9 more that I have to do, those being Fate, Nash, Hattori, Isaiah, Jala, Jiro, Koji, and Cole. Those ones I'm going to put onto the board after these ones are on there because there's not enough space to put them all on there. So when I have the entire right side of the board done and put onto the tier list, I will put those 9 legends up there and then I'll do them as well. Anyway, let's go right into it. Azoth. Azoth isn't really that good, to be honest. He has an axe, which is a wheelchair, and a bow, which is a decent weapon. However, really the only time people use him is during Halloween. That's about the only time I see Azoth. I really never see anyone play Azoth outside of like the Halloween time and all that stuff. But he's a decent legend. He has a bow, which his signatures are decent. Like there's a grounded attack, like a straight grounded attack, kind of like the Blaster's Downslight, but it's a Sig instead, which is pretty decent. But that's about all he has. But that's about all he has going for him. So I'm gonna put Azoth in the B. Actually, no, I'll put him in C. I'm gonna put Azoth in C because he's not horrible. All right, Lin Fei. Lin Fei has a massive, like her dexterity is massive. I've seen a lot of people play unarmed with her and destroy people. I've even seen a diamond who literally just plays Lin Fei in diamond rank, and they're in diamond and they're really good at it. But her attack is awful, and the fact that she has a cannon with very low attack, I honestly don't think it's that good. But since she does have pretty high dexterity, that does kind of make up for the attack. But I'm also going to put her in C with Azoth. Lord Vrax. So for Lord Vrax, his sigs are awesome. Like, he has really good sigs, mostly for Lance. Most of his good sigs are with Lance. He does have some pretty decent sigs with Blasters as well. But he also has really low defense and attack. And I personally think if you are going to have low attack, you better have high defense. Or if you're going to have low defense, you better have high attack. Now, because I think attack and then defense, and then also speed and dexterity are on different scales, and I think one of them has to be higher than the other on the different scales. So since both of his since both of his high skills are in speed and dexterity, but he does have pretty good sigs, it's gonna be another legend that I put in. Actually, no, I'll put him in B because he's not as bad as the other two. Lucian is great. I love Lucian. He has blasters, which I'm not good at, but I am trying to learn how to do them a lot better. He has Kataras, which I'm decent at. And then most of his skins are actually pretty cool as well. Like the one you see right here, I think that's a pretty cool skin. But his sigs are a bit clunky, to be honest. No. So his sigs for his Kataras are dead on. His sigs, however, for his blasters are a bit clunky, to be honest. And there's not really many ways you can use his sigs for his blasters. But his Kataras are pretty much dead on. His skins are pretty cool, and he plays pretty well. He has really high defense, which I like. So I'm gonna put him in A, because he is one of my personal favorite legends. Mirage, I've never really used Mirage too often. I think she's at like level 7 or 8 for me, but I never really use her too often. However, the people that I do see using Mirage are either Sig spammers or extremely good at Mirage. Now, I'm gonna exclude the Sig spammers. I'm not gonna rate any of these legends on how good they spam. I'm just gonna rate them how good if you're like a decent player at it. So, Mirage is pretty good actually. Her Scythe has really good Sigs, but that's actually about all he has for, is that her Scythe Sigs are pretty good. Also plays pretty well, to be honest, as well. And Mirage overall is really great. I can't play too well with her, but there are a lot of people who play pretty well with Mirage. Not a lot of pros use him, because now if a lot of pros use Mirage, she would go in A, but since most of the people who use Mirage are on like gold or platinum range and that don't really do this for like a professional way, I'm gonna put Mirage in B. Mordex, I used to main Mordex. He is my second favorite legend. Mordex, now, I did not main Mordex because I saw Sansa use him. In fact, I was maining Mordex before I even knew that there was like a professional league and all the tournaments and esports and stuff. Mordex I just found and really enjoyed playing. He has amazing SIGs for both of his weapons, which can be used for so many things. His speed, even though he doesn't have even though his speed isn't really high, for some reason he just feels so fast to me, and I'm gonna put Mordex in the S tier because he is one of my favorite legends and I used to main him, and because he's just great overall. Nyx is amazing. I never really played with Nyx too often, but Nyx is amazing. He has Blasters and Scythe, which are really good for just controlling your opponent. Like Blasters because they're like long range, and Scythe for obvious reasons, but Nyx is pretty good. Like he has, honestly, his SIGs aren't really SIGs for using in a combo. Most of his SIGs are more of SIGs to like trick your opponent, and I think that actually fits with his whole style. But his SIGs are pretty good. Both of his weapons are in the same league. I'm gonna put him in the A tier. Orion, he is to me garbage. His SIGs are pretty good, but that's about all he has going for him. Like I said earlier, I cannot use Lance for the life of me. Spear is pretty good though. Spear is decent, but his Spear, like really the only SIG that is good for him, I actually don't know if it's his up SIG or his down SIG, but the one that goes like flying and then straight down, I don't know, actually, yeah, because that just goes to show how much I actually play Orion. Like I don't know which one of his SIGs are which. Yeah, it's either his up or his down, the one that goes up and then straight down, and then like wails your opponent. But that's about the only thing I really, like that's really the only memorable thing about Orion. And I personally don't really like him too much. He's just a pretty bad legend for me. I'm gonna put him in D, actually. I was gonna put him in C, but I'm gonna put him in D. Petra's amazing. As you guys probably know, I main Gauntlets, and she has really good Gauntlet SIGs. And then, I'm also trying to learn how to do Orb a lot better. I'm getting there. I know a lot of true combos, I know a lot of combos, how to do strings, and how to read people and all that stuff. All of her SIGs, every single one of them, except for like the giant ball which she throws down, every single one of her SIGs, except for that one, is pretty decent. I really do like him, and Petra is another one of my favorite legends. I'm gonna put her in S tier. Okay, Queen Knight. Now, I know I said I wouldn't penalize any legends for having really spammable SIGs, but her SIGs are really spammable. Now, I'm still not going to penalize her, but if you were to just use her SIGs in like esports or something, they would probably destroy your opponent because they launch you back. There's not too many recovery frames, and the hitboxes of them are massive. She has Kato's and Spear, which work really well together. Kato's because you can like, manipulate your opponent. Spear, because honestly, Spear for me is just like a general weapon that is pretty good for really anything. And if Queen Nai wasn't, like, the only reason I hate Queen Nai is because the only thing that I think about when I see, the only thing that I think about when I see a loading screen with me and then another person playing Queen Nai is, oh god, they're gonna spam, I'm probably gonna lose. But if you take away that, Queen Nai is actually a really good character, so I'm gonna put her in the A tier. I do like Ragnar because all of his SIGs are pretty decent. They go a decent length away from your character, and then they also go straight in the direction that you do it. So his axe is a bit overpowered, but that's to be expected. It's an axe. His katanas are pretty decent as well, but I'm gonna put him in the B tier. Raymond, everyone seems to like Raymond, but for me, whenever I play Raymond, he just feels so weird. I think that's because you have the main body with a bunch of flying limbs everywhere, and that just does not feel right to me, especially since I do main gauntlets. Actually, I think Raymond is pretty much the only gauntlets legend that I don't like, to be honest. Yeah, because Vol is pretty decent, the other ones are pretty decent. Yeah, so really the only legend that I don't like with gauntlets is Raymond. It just feels so clunky to me. Raymond's SIGs are pretty decent. All of his SIGs are pretty decent, to be honest. But most of them have pretty high recovery frames. They're not massive, but they are slightly above average, which isn't that good. So I'm gonna put him in the B tier, actually. It's like a parade going outside. Scarlet. Scarlet has the highest win rate in the entire game. I think it's either 52 or 53. Yeah, she has the highest win rate in the entire game. And I don't really play her too often. I don't really like Hammer. I don't really like Lance. You guys already know that from the weapon tier list. But I don't really like either of those weapons. Her SIGs are decent. And for me personally, her SIGs are the only thing she has going for her. I'm gonna put her in the C tier, even though her win rate is pretty. No. I'll put her. Yeah, I'll put her in the C tier. Sentinel. Now, Sentinel has Katars and Hammer, which are decent weapons. Hammer is pretty. Hammer's not that good, but Katars are pretty decent. His SIGs are pretty good. They're not massive. They don't have too many recovery frames, but they don't throw you back either at all, really. I don't really know what to say about Sentinel, to be honest. Like, there's not too much to say about him. He's an average legend. Like, he's a legend that you see not that often, but when you do see him, people do tend to play with him pretty well, like, you know, combos and such that. But I don't really have too much to say about Sentinel. I just don't really like him too much, so I'm just gonna put him in C tier. Okay, so Sidra. I couldn't really find a picture of Sidra, so I just found one online of this. It doesn't look too good, but I couldn't find any decent picture of her with the correct resolution. I just found this one. Anyway, her SIGs are awesome. She has cannon. What is it? Yeah, so she has cannon and sword, both of which work fairly well together. Like, if you are good with cannon, then you're probably good with sword as well for some reason. I don't get how. I mean, like, I don't get why that combo works so well, but the sword and cannon seem to work pretty well for me. Her SIGs are a bit overpowered, and I do think they need to be nerfed a bit. But other than that, she's a pretty decent legend. I'm gonna put her in A tier. So Roland has amazing SIGs, especially for spammers, which I know I keep saying I'm not gonna penalize people for them. But for Roland, I just have to penalize for him because of a 6 spamming. Even though 6 are great, whenever I see Roland, they're literally every single Roland I've ever fought, except for bots, obviously, were 6 spammers. But the way they play is pretty good. He has really high defense, which I do like. His other stats are pretty decent as well. So for that, I'm gonna put him in the B tier. Teros. I don't need to say anything about Teros, just Teros. Okay, Thatch is pretty good. He has pretty low defense, which I don't really like too much, because I do like to not be flown out of existence in orange, but Thatch is pretty decent. He has a sword, which has a pretty decent SIGs, and he has Blastos. His Blastos down SIG, that does need to be nerfed. It is way overpowered. But that's honestly, like, his defense and then his down Blastos SIG are really the only things I don't like about him. Other than that, I'm gonna put him in B. Thor, for me, Thor sucks. I really don't like Thor. He's awful for me, and I can't play him for the life of me. I can't play Thor. I don't like Thor. Just Thor's SIGs are decent. His, like, pretty much everything about him is average, to be honest. Average with a side of not that good. I'm gonna put him in D. I mean, I do know that Thor is one of the few legends that you can literally stay in the air forever, but That's about the only thing good for him. Lance and Axe. Those are the most overpowered weapons in the entire game, and I feel strongly that Orgum is awful. Because Axe, everyone that doesn't like Axe. Like, Axe is just overpowered overall. Lance, I can't fight Lance for the life of me. I know how to fight Lance, I just can't fight Lance for some reason. And honestly, I think Orgum is probably going to be one of the very few legends I put in F, because although his SIGs are pretty decent, I just can't fight any of his weapons for the life of me. Val is pretty decent. He has gauntlets, which I really like. Sword is decent as well. However, now let me explain something. All of his signatures animations are so much smaller than the actual hitbox. So when it doesn't not look like you got hit, which is actually really annoying. I think if you are going to make a hitbox such as big as Val's, Val isn't overpowered. It's just that it's confusing to fight him sometimes because of his SIGs. Now, if you were to add like some kind of sparkle effect, kind of like how you do with Bodvar's giant bear there, but yeah, if you were to add like some kind of sparkle or puff effect wherever his hitboxes were, and not just have him flying around, that would make it a lot better. But purely for that, I was gonna put him in C. I think I'll put him in B. Okay, Valkov. I never really use Valkov too often. He's the newest legend. I've actually never fought with Valkov. I've never fought with him. His SIGs are pretty decent. They're good for reading, actually. Like, his SIGs are one of those legend SIGs where you can read people pretty easily with them. He has Axe and Scythe, which do not work well together in my opinion, because Axe is such an overpowered weapon, and you don't really need to train that hard for Axe. Scythe, however, is the weapon you need to train for the most and know everything that your opponent is gonna do. With that being said, purely because his two weapons do not work too well, like, those two weapons don't work well together at all. I know this is a bit harsh, but I'm gonna put him in D tier. Wushang is the character I'm maining currently. Like I said, I used to main Mordex. After I main Mordex, I went to Wushang. Wushang is awesome in my opinion. His SIGs are on the brink of overpowered, but not overpowered. They are decent. All of his SIGs you can use in a variety of ways. He has Spear and Gauntlets, which both weapons I really do like, because like I said, Gauntlets is my favorite weapon and I main them. But Wushang is gonna go in the S tier for me. Zol. This is Zol. This is what I think of Zol. Like, I like Zol, but this is what I think of Zol. He is, like, he looks like this, so he has to be in a wheelchair. With that being said, I keep quoting Planet Michael here, and that characters with axes are wheelchairs. But out of all of the wheelchair legends that I play, well, not that I play, out of all of the wheelchair legends in the game, Zol is by far my favorite one. He has Cannon, which I enjoy, Axe, which I don't really like too much, but the only reason I play with Zol's Axe is for his upsig, which I do actually like, is for his grounded upsig, which I do actually really like his grounded upsig. But Zol, to be honest, I'm gonna put Zol in the S tier, because I really do like Zol's SIGs. He's a decent character, and overall just a good legend. Yumiko is pretty decent. She has bow and hammer, both of which are, well, actually no, hammer's not that good to be honest. But the only reason that her hammer is good is because her SIGs are kind of like Nyx's in the way that they kind of trick people, especially her down SIG with the 3 flames. Bow is pretty decent, just bow in general is decent, and I do like Yumiko. Yumiko is gonna go in the B tier. Zerial is another one of those legends that whenever I think of Zerial, all I can think of is 6 spammers. I do like Gauntlets though, his Gauntlets are pretty good, but if he wasn't just a 6 spam heavy character, he would go in A tier. Now I do like his Gauntlets, but I'm gonna have to put him in C tier. Kaya's awesome, to be honest. Kaya has Spear and Bow, both of which are weapons that I really do enjoy playing. Spear, her Spear 6 are awesome. Honestly, except for a side sig. Her side sig, you have to be, you have to position yourself really well. Her other sigs are decent. Her bow sigs are fast, and I like them. There's not too many recovery frames, and they just shoot your enemy. If you're playing against the Kaya, that Kaya is probably really good at playing bow. Whenever I see someone playing Kaya and they play the Spear, they're usually not that good, to be honest. But whenever I see someone playing Kaya who's mainly playing a bow, they usually destroy me with bow. I'm gonna put Kaya in A tier. Dusk is awesome. Dusk sigs, except for his down orb sig, are awesome. His Spear. Yeah, so pretty much all of his sigs, except for his down sigs, for both weapons I might add, which are Orb and Spear. And Orb and Spear do actually work pretty well with each other. Like I said, I am learning how to use Orb really well. I am enjoying it so far, and I think he's gonna go in the A tier. I'm running out of space in A and B. Bryn sucks. I'm just gonna say it right now, Bryn sucks. She has decent sigs, but Axe and Spear aren't really that good with each other. You're either good at one weapon or you're good at the other. I am personally better with Spear, but I don't really like Bryn too much. Like, really the only thing I like about Bryn is the free Batman skin you get. And it's not called the Batman skin, obviously, but whenever I look at it, all I can think is Batman. So, since she's not that good, and the only thing that I know about good at her is the Batman thing, I'm gonna put her in F tier. She's awesome. Ada is another legend where whenever I look at her, I just think sigs. I'm just gonna look at just her blasters. Her blasters aren't that good. Because, okay. I am gonna be fair. Her blaster sigs, I'm not gonna think of them as sig spamming sigs. I'm only gonna look at them as what they are. I do think they need to be nerfed purely because they throw you back. I think so the recovery frames on there are huge. Aren't that big. The hitbox for things aren't decent. I think a way you could nerf Ada is by making her not get launched back so far when you use her sigs, making it ridiculously hard to punish. Almost all of her sigs are ridiculously hard to punish. But just for that, I'm gonna actually put her in C. Artemis is decent. Lance and Scythe. Both Lance and Scythe are weapons that you can kill your opponent as long as you are skilled. Scythe, really easy to zero to death someone, and so is Lance. They do work well with each other. However, my problem with Artemis, to be honest, actually, I don't really have a problem with Artemis. Just, I don't like him. Like, I don't know why I don't like Artemis. I can't think of anything at the top of my head as to why I don't like Artemis. I just don't like Artemis. No, this is just like a passion, not a passion thing, but I'm gonna put him in D tier. Asuri is, to my knowledge, the current meta, purely because of her sigs. Her sigs are amazing. Kataras and sword work pretty well with each other. If you're good at Kataras, you're also probably pretty decent at sword. Her sigs are ridiculous. Her down sig is overpowered, but her sigs are pretty decent. But she's overall a pretty good legend. I don't really play with her too often, but purely because I know how good she is, I'm gonna put her in S tier, actually. I was gonna put her in A, but I'm gonna put her in S. Bodvo is the OG legend. Bodvo is awesome. I don't really like Hammer, like I keep saying, but his sword is pretty decent. Whenever I do play Hammer, for some reason, what's weird for me is that just specifically Bodvo's Hammer is whenever I play Hammer, I either die instantly or kill the other opponent instantly. It's just a matter of if I'm lucky. I don't know why, but just his sigs are decent for both his hammer and his sword. They're not that bad. I'm gonna put him in not S tier. I'm gonna say C tier. I'm putting him in C tier because he is a bit clunky to me. Barasa has blasters and axe, which are weapons that do not work well with each other because blasters You need to stay away from your opponents. Like, you have to stay away from your opponents. Axe, we all know what Axe is. I don't need to explain his Axe, but his signatures are decent. Whenever I see someone playing with his Axe, however, they are always sig spamming. Whenever I see someone who's playing with his blasters, they're really good at blasters. Like, Brawlhalla is just a neutral character for me. I don't really have many opinions about Brawlhalla, so I'm gonna put him in B tier, because I know he is a good legend, but I don't, no, yeah, B tier. Caspian, I don't really like Caspian. I know I said that Raymond is really the only legend with gauntlets that I don't really like, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really like Caspian's gauntlets too much either. And then whenever someone plays Caspian against me, the thing that I can't stress enough is his side sig is completely overpowered and needs to be nerfed, because his side sig can evade quite literally anything, and it just throws the opponent behind him. So not only is it like you switching spots almost, but like if you get caught in that sig, you are, like, to be honest, it doesn't have that much power, but it can evade quite literally anything. And I don't like it. I mean, I do like it, but if I were to be playing him, I would like it, but I'm gonna put him in C tier. Cassidy. If you've seen any of my funny moments and fails, you will know what I think about Cassidy. She is the poop. Speaking of funny moments and fails, go subscribe to my Electroghost channel if you haven't already. Cassidy is the poop. This is an inside joke with me and Anonymous. Is Cassidy's the poop. I really hate Cassidy. Her blasters aren't that good. Her hammer isn't that good. Hammer isn't good anyway, but her hammer isn't that good. I'm gonna put her on F tier. I do like Cross. Like, Cross, I do like his gauntlets, actually. Like, Cross is one of the few characters that I've really never played with. He's at, like, level 2 or 3 for me. I never really played with Cross. I just never really got the opportunity to play with Cross, to be honest. But if I did, I probably wouldn't really like him anyway, because his SIGs are kind of like Raymond's, in that they just have, like, some kind of ghost thing that goes straight forward. And it's, like, quite a big open range if you miss, which can easily get you punished. His side sig on blasters, however, the one that where he launches himself forward, that one's pretty useful. But overall, he's not that good of a legend, and I'm gonna put him in. Vector is the second newest character. He has bow and lance, but his lance, like, there are ways you can use his lance signatures, like the one where he drops eggs. They look like eggs to me, I'm just gonna call them eggs. The one where he drops the eggs is pretty good for edge guarding, if your character doesn't know what edge guarding is, because although it is good for edge guarding, it is a pretty slow attack, so if your character is on high alert, you're probably gonna miss. His up sig is really only useful if your opponent literally only dodges up, and overall, I don't really like him too much. I'm gonna put him in C tier, because he is decent. Diana is bows and blasters. Both of those work really well with each other, and her SIGs are pretty decent, and I really do like Diana overall. And for that, I'm gonna put her in A tier. Like, I don't really have much to say about Diana, except she's decent, and I like her. Ember is the last legend, and she is one of the few legends that I haven't played with. She's like, I think she's actually literally the only legend I haven't played with, actually. I don't think I've ever played with Ember. So it is Katars and Bow, both of which are also another group that works pretty well with each other. And overall, she's a decent legend. I'm gonna put her in A tier. Actually, guys, I almost forgot to put the last 9 legends in it, which are Fate, Nash, Hattori, Isaiah, Jala, Jiro, Koji, and Core. I almost forgot to do them, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie with you. Anyway, let's finish this off. So, Core. Core has gauntlets and hammer. I don't like his hammer or his SIGs. His hammer overall is pretty bad. His hammer overall is pretty bad. And then also his gauntlets, I do like his gauntlets. His gauntlets are pretty decent. His SIGs can be used in pretty specific circumstances, but overall, he's not really that useful. I'm actually going to put him in E tier. Koji's pretty decent. He has bow and sword, both of which are weapons that don't work too well with each other. They're more of average weapons to me. Like, so there's a group of weapons that are unique, and then for me there's also a group of weapons that are just like weapons that everyone has, which would be spear, sword, and bow. And sword and bow, he has both of which I think are average weapons that pretty much everyone. Well, obviously not everyone has them, but I think just like normal weapons. And for that, they don't work too well for each other, for me anyway. And his SIGs are decent. His SIGs aren't horrible, but they're not great either. So I'm gonna put him in C tier. I'm running out of space in C tier. I ran out of space in C tier and A tier actually. Juro is decent. This Juro was the first legend that I ever got to level 10, I think. Yeah, he was the first legend I ever got to level 10, and the first legend I ever played was Zol. The second legend I ever played was Juro, which I enjoyed Juro. He's awesome. His SIGs are kind of like his SIGs are also kind of like Nyx's, where they're more of like the more of like SIGs where you can trick your opponent into walking straight into them. And for that, I'm gonna put him in the B tier. Jala, I don't really like Jala, to be honest. She has axe and sword, which don't really work too well with each other. Her SIGs aren't all that great, and overall, she's just not that good for me. I don't play her too often, but when I do, she just doesn't work too well for me. She's really slow and clanky for me as well. I'm gonna put her in F tier. Isaiah's decent. Isaiah has cannon and blasters, which do actually work pretty well with each other. Blasters you need to work a bit more on. His SIGs are awesome, in my opinion. His SIGs are beautiful with his cannon and his blasters. And overall, he's just a really good legend. I would put him in A tier. I'm running it. Yeah, actually, no. I'm putting him in S tier, actually. Hattori. Just her sword alone is enough to put on B tier, to be honest. I know that's not too high, but just her sword alone is decent. Her signatures for all of them are pretty good. For me, she's one of those characters that I just forget about. Like, she's just one of those characters that I just forget exists until I play with her, and then she's pretty good. But for that, I'm gonna put her in the A tier, because she's not in the C tier. Nash is the other character that I just kind of forget exists. And when I play him as well, he's not that good. Like, at least for Hattori, when I do remember she exists, I play her, she's decent. Nash, however, when I remember he exists, I play him, he's awful. I don't really like Nash. His signatures are pretty wonky. Overall, Nash is just, I don't really like Nash. He also kind of looks like Cross in a costume, to be honest. I know this is a skin, but even his normal skin, he just looks like Cross in a costume. So that's about the only thing he has going for him. I'm just gonna put him in F tier. Fate is amazing. I like Fate. Orb and Scythe work pretty well with each other, and overall, Fate's good. She has good signatures for both of her weapons, which are Orb and Scythe. But overall she's pretty decent. I'm gonna put her in the A tier. All right, so this is my final product. And if you guys agree with me or disagree with me, please leave it in the comments. Just don't argue with each other. Just argue with me. Don't argue with each other, just argue with me. Anyway, Mordex, Petra, Wushong, Zol, Asuri, and Isaiah are in S tier. Lucian, Nyx, Queen Nai, Sidra, Teros, Kaya, Dusk, Diana, Ember, Hattori, and Fate on A tier. Lord Vax, Mirage, Ragnar, Raymond, Sorolin, Thatch, Vol, Yumiko, Baraza, and Juro on B tier. Azoth, Linfei, Scarlet, Sentinel, Zerial, Ada, Bodvar, Caspian, Vector, and Koji on C tier. Orion, Thor, Volkov, Artemis, Cross, and Cole all in D tier, and last of all, Orgrim, Gwyn, Cassidy, Jala, and Nash all in F tier. This has been my Brawlhalla tier list of every legend currently in the game, and I hope you guys enjoyed. See you later. Bye.